Bears Nation, hold on to your seats, because everything we thought we knew about this franchise is being put to the ultimate test right now. We are standing on the edge of history, and it feels absolutely terrifying and electric at the same time, because we haven't seen anything like this in 20 long years. Since 2006, we've been trapped in this cycle of hope and heartbreak where we take one step forward and two steps back. But the 2026 schedule just dropped, and it changes the entire narrative of what this team is truly supposed to be. Before we dive into this absolute madness, I need you to join the tribe, because we are pushing for 3,000 subscribers, and we need every single one of you to stand with us as we navigate this storm. Look, the reality is hitting us right in the face, because for 2 decades we've been waiting for consistency and for a team that doesn't just flash and disappear like a ghost in the night. The last time we made the playoffs back-to-back was 2005 and 2006, which feels like a lifetime ago when we actually tasted what a Super Bowl run felt like. And every single time since then, whether it was 2010 or 2020, we just crumbled the year after. But now Gilberto Manzano is coming out and saying we are going 11-6, which is a massive statement that suggests the curse is finally breaking under this new regime. However, there is a bitter pill to swallow here because even with 11 wins, he still has us finishing behind the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. And honestly, that just burns my soul because we are tired of being the hunters. We want to be the kings of the North again. It's about more than just a record. It's about a culture shift where the league actually respects the city of Chicago. And seeing these predictions makes me realize that the target on our back is bigger than ever before. We aren't that scrappy underdog anymore. We are the team that everyone is circling on their calendars, and that brings a level of weight that can either forge diamonds or crush everything we've built. Manzano believes we are going to fight through the noise and finally stay relevant in consecutive seasons, but can you imagine the pressure on these young players when they realize they can't just have one good year and then relax? This is the Chicago Bears we are talking about, where the ghosts of the past are always lingering in the shadows of Soldier Field, waiting for us to slip up and fall back into mediocrity. But this year feels different, because the foundation actually looks solid for once. The real engine behind all of this hype is obviously Caleb Williams, and let me tell you that what he did in the second half of last season was nothing short of legendary. He wasn't just playing quarterback, he was playing like a man possessed, showing us flashes of a superstar status that we haven't seen in this city since, well, maybe ever. If he takes that massive leap in his third season like everyone expects, we aren't just looking at a playoff team, we are looking at a perennial powerhouse that will dominate the conversation for a decade. But here is the raw truth that no one wants to admit out loud. We aren't going to catch anybody by surprise in 2026, because the league has seen the tape and they are coming for his head. The honeymoon phase is officially over, and now we have to deal with the cold reality of being the hunted, where every defensive coordinator in the NFL is staying up late trying to figure out how to stop the magic. Manzano is right when he says the hype is real, but that hype carries a dangerous price because it forces a young team to grow up way faster than they might be ready for. We saw it happen so many times where a young quarterback catches fire, and then the league adjusts and suddenly everything that looked easy becomes a nightmare. I'm sitting here wondering if we are truly prepared for the psychological battle of being a marked team, because it takes a different kind of grit to win when everyone expects you to win. It's one thing to be the kid who comes out of nowhere and shocks the world, but it's a completely different animal to be the guy that everyone is studying and planning for every single week. Caleb has the talent, he has the arm, and he definitely has the swagger. But 2026 is going to be the year where we find out if he has the mental toughness to carry the weight of an entire franchise on his shoulders. This isn't just about throwing touchdowns anymore. It's about leading a group of men through the fire when the expectations are sky high and the margin for error is zero. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, because the roster moves are making my head spin, and the trade of DJ Moore to Buffalo still feels like a punch to the gut for a lot of us. Rome Odunze is being thrust into that number 1 wide receiver role. And while we all love his potential, asking a young player to fill those shoes while the eyes of the world are watching is a massive gamble. This is where Ben Johnson has to earn every penny of his contract, because his scheme has to be flawless to make up for that loss of veteran production in the passing game. Think about the sheer intensity of having 7 standalone games where the entire country is focused solely on our Chicago Bears, including primetime slots and even playing on both Christmas and Thanksgiving. That is a level of exposure that can either make you a global icon or expose every single weakness you have in front of millions of people. Last year, we only had 3 primetime games and we felt the heat, so imagine doubling that intensity while also dealing with a roster that is still learning how to win together. It feels like the NFL is setting the stage for a cinematic masterpiece, where we are either the heroes who finally overcome the tragedy or the tragic figures who couldn't handle the spotlight. I'm honestly losing my mind thinking about the stress of those holiday games, because we know how much those moments mean to the fans who just want something to celebrate while they sit around the table with their families. Ben Johnson has proven he can be a mastermind, but 2026 is his ultimate test to see if he can keep this locker room focused amidst all the distractions of fame and national media narratives. We are talking about a young team that is still finding its identity, and now they are being pushed onto the biggest stages in sports almost every single week. It's a beautiful opportunity, but it's also a terrifying tightrope walk where one wrong move could send the entire season spiraling out of control before we even realize what hit us. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this schedule, because it is a total paradox that makes me want to scream and cheer at the same time. We are facing the sixth toughest strength of schedule in the entire league, which is absolutely brutal when you consider we have to play 7 teams that made the playoffs last year. But here is the secret weapon that nobody is talking about yet. We have the second highest net rest differential in the NFL since 2002. We are talking about a plus 15 advantage where our guys are going to be fresh while our opponents are dragging their feet, and that could be the literal difference between a win and a loss in December. Plus, we are traveling the third fewest miles in the league, which means more time in the facility and more time sleeping in our own beds rather than being stuck on a plane. It's like the universe is giving us a massive boost to balance out the nightmare of playing those elite teams back to back. Seriously though, can you feel the tension building up, because this feels like the most calculated season in our lifetime, where every single detail matters. I'm looking at these weeks where we have short rest for 6 different games, and it makes me nervous. But then I see that rest advantage, and I realize we have a golden ticket if we play our cards right. This is the insider knowledge that tells me the front office and the league are preparing for a deep run even if the path is covered in thorns. I'm sitting here late at night just staring at these matchups, and I can see the vision of Caleb leading us into those primetime battles with a fresh set of legs while the defense pounces on tired quarterbacks. It's an unbelievable strategic advantage that we haven't had in years, and it makes me think that maybe, just maybe, the stars are finally aligning for us. At the end of the day, this isn't just about wins and losses or some analyst's prediction. It's about the soul of Chicago and whether we are ready to reclaim our throne. We have been through the darkness, we have seen the failed experiments, and we have felt the sting of being ignored by the national media for way too long. But the 2026 season is our chance to stand up and tell the world that the Chicago Bears are not just a footnote in history, we are a force to be feared. I want to see your fire in the comments right now, because I need to know if you truly believe this is our year, or if you're scared we're being set up for another heartbreak. Are we going to let the Lions take our crown, or are we going to march into their house and take what belongs to us? I'm telling you, I can feel it in my bones that something special is happening at Halas Hall, and we need every single member of this tribe to bring that energy every single Sunday. Don't just watch from the sidelines. I want you to scream, I want you to debate, and I want you to pour your heart into this team, because that is what it means to be part of this community. We are building something here that goes beyond football. It's a brotherhood of fans who refuse to give up on the dream of seeing that trophy come back to Chicago. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because we are going to be here every step of the way, through the highs and the lows, until we reach the summit together. This is our time, this is our team, and this is our city. So let's show the rest of the league what happens when the monsters of the Midway finally wake up from their long slumber. I'll see you in the comments. Let's get it. Bears Nation.